an artificial hologram that's been created, and it's been in action now, fully functional for, I think, 26,000 years. Um, and it's kind of keeping us, some of us, stuck here, okay? And we're kind of on a loop of being in here. So the hologram is like a bubble within the planet. And what I drew was kind of like what looked like a bubble with a flat earth, okay? And this is why some people are accessing this concept that we live on a flat earth, because they are actually tapping in to this hologram, this artificial hologram within the other world that we're living in. And in that bubble, our life happening, okay? And so you've got your buildings, you've got your trees, you've got your people. Everyone's living their lives, doing their things, walking their dogs, you know, um, having a good life. And there's the planet, there's our planet in this hologram, but also the whole, I believe it might actually be the whole galaxy that's in this artificial hologram. So think of like a big bubble around, this being the Earth aspect of it. And then there's other planets within here. Okay. And all of this exists within the actual planet. Okay. So this bubble exists within like our actual Earth. Yes, it's not round. I'm so sorry, but please imagine it's round. So what I also have seen in the past is that this bubble, this fake bubble, is surrounded with this fake bubble is surrounded with a like buffer barrier. Okay, so if this is our planet in this bubble, it's surrounded with a buffer barrier all around it, which is all like this very dense blackness. Because in meditation, I've gone outside of that bubble and into that dense blackness. And when you're in that dense blackness, you don't have a physical form. You just are able to see. And it's just, I mean, to me, I think of it as dark matter. Some people call it something else. And this dense, dense, dense blackness. And then what I saw, and again, some of this information may not be completely accurate. Like there's so many implanted projections happening these days that some of this information may not be fully accurate, but just let's go with it. And we can start to clarify this over time as other people start to access this kind of information. I've had several people reach out to me since saying, oh my God, I've had the same information and I didn't have anyone to talk to. I was just talking to someone even half an hour ago about that. So where is it here? So what I saw was like, if this is that hologram and this is like the Earth inside the hologram, I saw in that blackness out here all these stone figures that looked exactly like the ones that are on Easter Island off of Patagonia. And I saw hundreds and hundreds of them all in that blackness in here. And originally, I just connected it to what I feel in meditations very often for years, which is that when I go deep into meditation, I can feel that I'm in some kind of an enclosure. Okay. And I used to just describe it as a coffin. It's like, I feel like there's like, I'm in a coffin. I can feel there's something over my face. I can feel there's something really solid against my arms and my whole body. But when I saw these, I kind of made the connection. I didn't actually access the information. I'm like, oh my God, I think I'm in a stone structure. And then I saw that this could possibly be stone structures, which a lot of people are actually in. However, right now, I'm not going to say that information is valid or not valid. Everyone's getting a different opinion Everyone I've talked to so far who I trust as people who have really good access. Some people say no, that's a projection you're seeing with all these stone structures, and yet a lot of people know about this bubble. And so inside this bubble, imagine if there's an avatar version of you inside of a video game, okay? So inside this bubble, there's you, me, and everybody else hanging out in this sort of like video game aspect in here, living our lives and going on with our lives in here. So that's kind of what I saw. And what I included in this was that years ago, couple of years ago, I saw that the other side, who's playing our opponents in this game, had been able to create their own version of source, okay? Like a false version of source. And they were actually able to create their own beings that looked like angels and stuff that were actually not of real light, but of false light. And it's the same players that are creating this game that have also created that. So some people who channel angels or channel archangels or channel galactic beings are actually not channeling actual beings, or channeling fake beings that are pretending to be of light, but they're actually false light. And I bring that up because inside this bubble is where that access of false light is very palpable, but it is also palpable outside of this bubble. And what I wanted to share was that as much as we exist inside this bubble, we also exist outside this bubble. And the way I can best describe that is here. Okay, there's Sue, and that's her projection. And then we have, this is like the video game projection coming out. And then she's actually existing on the real planet, but she is existing here as Sue on the real planet, okay? And this is the real planet, for lack of better words, real as opposed to in the more false hologram, even though everything is sort of a holographic projection from Earth. But what's happening is that our opponents on the other team they use artificial intelligence, okay? So as we are getting better at discerning, and everyone knows consciousness is increasing, right? Like everybody is getting more intuitive, or they think about a friend and next thing that friend calls, right? As like the simplest of it all. And so the consciousness is increasing, and so we're getting more access, like access to some of the greater perspectives of who we are, why we're here, what we see in the game, the whole idea of a holograph. Like I couldn't actually get a real sense of it for myself as to what that even meant, us being in a holograph. But now I have that access and I didn't before. So everybody's access is definitely increasing. But what happens is that the players who are playing the other side of the game, they've used AI technology for tens of thousands of years to keep us in this game, to make us feel like we're just little humans, and to stay in our distractions, and to not start to really get a sense of the bigger picture. Okay, so for every time you get more access, they up level their AI, because it's artificial intelligence, to then start to throw you off course at the same time. Okay, and I'm sharing this because I want this to be a learning experience for all of us, because right now the level of interference that's out there is making it absolutely almost impossible for anyone, including some of the people that we all listen to be fully discerning of what's coming through. Okay, and at the end of the day, what this is doing is it's perfectly designing us to eventually look within for our own answers as well, because a lot of us start to look to others, look outside of ourselves, look to others for answers. And yes, this is all the information that I've shared so far for the past few months is very, very relevant, but we don't ever want to put all of our trust and faith, etc., into anybody. Okay. So I just want to put that out there because this is a learning for all of us because we're so used to looking outside of ourselves rather than looking within ourselves. So this is what's going on here. And what we need to do is start to take ourselves as much as possible back into our organic state. Okay. It doesn't mean we're leaving this bubble, because as much as I'm drawing it like this, in essence, it's kind of like existing at the simultaneously at the same time as when we're here. So if this is you know, Sue on the planet, she also has this artificial bubble of stuff around her all the time. Okay. And this is where some of those templates of blocks are from, is from this artificial bubble. This is where some of the technology that stops us from accessing our higher self properly comes from. It comes from this bubble. So this hologram that I'm drawing exists sort of simultaneously with us in the organic world. Okay. So we're all kind of in and out of these realms all at the same time. And when we get out of these realms is when we go really, really, really present and grounded within us. When we're really present and grounded within us, we go from being our thoughts and everything being in here to being back in here. Okay. So that is one of the most important things that I want to share with you from everything that I shared in that Facebook Live. And some of those other things that I talked about, the stone figures, etc., still trying to really figure that out and understand what that's about. I talked to a friend and he said that no, those stone figures don't have any people in them. And they may not, but there is something about this whole stoned process because it's in so many legends and so many myths, and they all have certain truths to them. But he says that the Easter Island stone figures are they are from a very dark place. The people who put them there, or the beings that put them there, are very dark. And these stone figures are there to be receivers, almost as antennae, of very dark frequency, okay, like really negative frequencies. So it could be that what I'm seeing in this realm here, where I see all these stone figures in the black buffer area, that these stone figures are receiving this dark frequency, and hence that dark frequency is being used to create this grid. Like they may actually be part of the fence to create this grid. I don't know yet for sure, okay? But it's something that is worthwhile feeling out and discerning within yourself for those of you who have that kind of capacity to do so.